My theory on why Call of Duty is what it is now is because of the personal connection you felt to the players back then. Like, even if the player themselves weren't creating content, they were on someone's stream enough to where you could resonate with them, whether it be Slack, Saints, me, Seth, right? Like, everything was broadcasted because, first and foremost, we weren't getting paid these crazy salaries. We weren't on such rigorous practice schedules, right? A lot of us were coming home from school and practicing. The prize pools weren't what they are now. So you're kind of creating content and streaming for an additional revenue source. And I think the games are better. So we just, like, I look now, and I think even right now, if I think back to Ghosts, and maybe I'm wrong because my memory might deceive me, we would scrim and then play 8s all night because we loved it and wanted to. And now it feels like, bro, you barely get to watch these players play. And now these players are staying in separate hotels. They're not all at the same bar.
There's no pro lounge.
Mingling. It's not the big happy family that it used to be.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely not.
And I would love for it to go back, or maybe even just be a semblance of what it once was, because I think that's what made us us.
Do you think players would even hang out in a pro lounge together anymore?
I think they would.
You think they would?
I think they would. It's just so separate now. Like, it's so, this team's going to stay at this hotel and they're going to do their thing and they're going to, and I understand it as competitors, but we had the perfect balance back then. If we played against each other, we hated each other, but we were still such good friends. And I think that's another thing when it comes to like the gentleman's agreements. And I talked to Tommy about this. And the thing about GAs back then is if me and you were AR players and you were down to GA something and I wasn't, because we were such good friends and we had such mutual respect, if I was being hard-headed, I would have 7 of my friends looking at me in person being like, yo, what the fuck is your problem?
Right.
And then I would feel like an asshole because I don't want my friends mad at me. So there was like a certain respect level that I don't think players have anymore. I think it's so selfish and team-centered and player-centered, whereas before there was so much mutual respect and love that you would come around quicker or you would be a little more
The first GA I ever remember happening, because it used to just be bans. Like, when Ghost came out, the MSBS was literally banned immediately. I think that's the name of the gun. It's like that 4-round burst gun or whatever. It was just unbelievable, and it was going to be 8 of those in the map, so they just banned it.
Yeah.
But before then, or I get this is Black Ops 2 is even before then, but Black Ops 2, the first GA I ever remember was the Sentry Gun GA. I'm sure it happened in Black Ops 1. I'm sure it happened in MW3. But like before then, it was like, it seemed like there was like literal bans on the MLG website. But Vonderhaar was like, I remember the first week of League play, I was playing Domination with Shock Charges on Express. So Vaughn wanted as much in the game as possible, and he kept sentry guns in because you had this, like, remember the black, was it called a black hat? It's like a little thing.
I remember this because they would bring us into play test.
Yeah.
And I remember it's such a weird thing because I do, especially now, I understand the developer side. This is their baby. This is what But as a competitor, you view it so differently. So when they're saying, and we're like, bro, we're 16, 17, 18 years old, we're kids. And when they're saying like,
you're just calling it gay.
Where it's like,
they're like, no, you got to tell us like what's happening.
I'm just like, dude.
No. I don't want to play with it.
It's like Methods use shock charges. I'm like, dude, I'm straight. Like, I'm not throwing that fucking shock charge there. But now that I'm where I am, now I'm like, dude, I miss that. Back in Ghost, we play with thermals and smokes, and these players would never. And I'm like, we need to bring that back because there was some semblance of strategy to Call of Duty. You had to counter. You had to use EMPs to break this. You had to use this perk to plant the bomb. Otherwise, you were going to get killed by the thermal watching the bomb. Those things need to be back. Sentry guns, I understand GAing something like that. Big Timer Optic used to cap a flag, and Big T would put a sentry down and camp behind the sentry. It was unfucking killable. And then everyone would throw trophies around his sentry. So you're trying to EMP it, you can't, and Will is just cleaning you up behind the sentry.
Yeah, and you had in a black hat in order to like hack the EMP or hack the trophy system, you had to point it.
Yeah,
it's like a little thing you kept in your pocket, but you had to have line of sight with the sentry gun.
Yeah.
So you pop out to try to hack it, and then Big Timer kills you.
Yeah. That's the thing. I feel like I just think GAs used to be a lot more reasonable, and they were used to actually GA things that should have been GA'd, or at least you understand why.
To make the game more fun.
Now everything is up for debate. Like they almost GA'd the knife this year. And I'm like, guys, like there are certain things that can't be touched. If there's an OP weapon to where there's 8 on the map, okay, that's a good discussion. The FG-42 in World War II. That was so OP that even the ARs who were using it and dominating like me, were like, okay, yeah, we'll get rid of this because it is making the game less fun to watch, less fun to play. Now it's so team-centered. It's, will we be a better team with or without this thing? And that is the only thing that matters. They don't take into account the watchability. They don't take into account how other teams feel. It is all so selfish. And I just wish at the bare minimum, the GA things will be limited to things that genuinely should be up for debate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with the conversation.
I feel like how GAs are done now, how they're done is so like outdated.
Well,
like,
my idea now is there are so many former pros now retired.
Yeah.
Me, Seth, Zuma, etc. I do think we could put together a decent committee to actually non-biasedly put our thoughts together. I say that, and then the other side of me is like, if Shotzi fucking comes to me and says, Zin, we cannot have that in, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, fuck. Shit.
I think
I'm trying to eliminate this bias, Ant.
Let's come up with an idea. All 12 teams get a vote. Then we have 4 representatives that get a vote and 1 community vote as the tiebreaker. I think
we can dream, man.
We put it on Reddit and we let them poll it out.
The issue is I just don't think these players
give a fuck.
They
would just go by. They would be like, yeah, sure, we could do that.
They make a lot of money now, and they're all trying to win, and they're all looking out for their livelihood, which I do understand, bro, because there's nothing worse is like as a player, if things aren't going well, it's a very volatile thing where, you lose. None of us really went to school. We don't really, luckily I have my stream now. Thank God I got benched by Ultra, but a lot of players just have competitive Call of Duty.
Right.
And they'll do everything they can to make sure that they keep that job. And who can blame them for that?
Right.
I just wish there was a little more open-mindedness around growth in because we need to do our part, especially when I don't think there's slack picked up from the big, the guy up top.
Right, of course.
So we need to do our best to make this game thrive.
Yeah.
And put all of our cards on the table to put us in the best spot. And then as long as we're going out there and doing everything we can to grow it and make sure it's a good product, no one can blame us. We're doing what we can. And hopefully if we do that, there's also the argument to where the developers might be a little more receptive to being open and helping us more if we meet them in the middle and we start using things that they want to see. And there's at least, because right now it's players' way or the highway, right? If developers say we want this and the players are going to say yes or no, and that's what it is. So I do think meeting them in the middle would help, but I don't know. I feel like I've had this fucking conversation for so many years. Yeah. I feel like I'm just... it's the biggest broken record.